Well, hello, boys and girls. This is Mr. Bedley, and we are on 5th grade Excel lesson number 5. We're going to learn about different kinds of graphs today. Circle graphs, picture graphs, bar graphs, and line graphs. All of these are a visual representation of what's called data, and that means numbers about stuff. So let's take a look at our first one here. Circle or pie graphs are used primarily to organize data. Primarily, that means mostly. Picture graphs use symbols and pictures to compare data. Bar graphs also compare data. And line graphs are used to show change or change over time. Let's take a look at numero uno here. Number 1, balls in the equipment box. You can see the word basketballs is here. That goes with this section, which means there are 3 basketballs in the equipment box. Soccer balls, there are this many soccer balls. There are this many footballs and this many baseballs in the equipment box. If a student takes a ball from the equipment box at random, that means they just go over and just grab one. They don't even pay attention to which one they're picking. Which ball has the lowest probability of being selected? Which one has the lowest, what's the lowest chance? Pause the video and circle one of these 4 right here. All right, so when you pause the video, you should have picked basketballs. You should have circled that one. If you did not pick basketballs, erase and fix your answer because there are only 3 basketballs in the equipment box. There are a ton of baseballs, quite a few footballs, and definitely more than 3 soccer balls. All right, let's go to number 2. Taking photographs. Notice the title across the top. That'll help you to understand the graph. This is called a pictograph. This is a circle graph, and this is called a pictograph or a picture graph. Sometimes they call them one or the other. And notice that at the bottom, there's like a key down here. Each camera represents 2 photos. Okay, so Carly has 2 cameras next to her name, which represents 4 photos. All right, pause the video and try these 2 problems right here. Turn it back on when you have the solutions. Who took fewer than 4 photographs? Well, if you put down Carly, that's not fewer than 4, that is 4. There's 8, 6, and that one would have 2, and then this little bugger right there, in case you don't know, is half of a camera, which represents 1 photo. So 2 and 1 makes 3, so that means that Ruthie took fewer than 3, or 4, fewer than 4. And Glenn took 2 because he's only got 1 picture of a camera. So you had to write both of their names on here, Glen. If you didn't write both of them, then you didn't look at all the different choices. Pause the video and erase and fix your answer or add 1 in. How many more photos does Glenn need to take to catch up with Barry? Well, Glenn has done 2. Barry has done 8. So you should have a math problem right here. 8 take away 2 means that Glenn needs to take 6 more photos, or you can just write 6 photos. There. And moving on to number 3, jumping rope. Notice that there are bars here. If you look over to the line you follow the line over to the side, it tells you how many what? How many minutes, notice the word there, that each one of these people did in jumping rope. So go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems for number 3. All right, so it says, for how many minutes did Gary and Delia jump rope? Gary did 30 minutes, as we can see here. Delia did halfway between 20 and 30. What number comes right between 20 and 30? That would be the number 25. So when we figure out what they both did, we have to add them together. Some kids like to write 25 minutes and 30 minutes down for their answer. You actually have to add them together. And that, of course, is 55 minutes. You can abbreviate minutes with MINS. According to the chart, which 2 children jumped rope for the same number of minutes? Well, if you look right here, this bar is the same size as that bar right there. If you said 20 minutes, you didn't really read the question carefully enough because it says, which two children? So I have to write Hunter and Martin. Hopefully you can fit it in there better. But I'm writing with my finger. Okay. Hunter and Martin. Pause the video if you need to erase that and change it. Our last graph here today, number 4, is a line graph. Now this can get a little tricky. What I'd like you to do before you start solving these problems, well, first of all, let's look. Daily high temperature. And this over here says temperatures. So the lowest temperature it has on this graph, this line graph, is 30, and it goes up to 36. As you can see, none of the temperatures were 36 or 30, but the temperatures are all going to be between those numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That must be the first day, the second day, third day, and so on. What I would like you to do is put a dot for each day. So look, if you follow the number 1 up here, the temperature would be right there. Put a dot, that means it's 34 degrees. It's easy to skip some of these. So now go above the 2 and put a dot for that one. Number 3, number 4, put a dot, and so on for every single one of the days. Put a dot for all of those. Okay, pause the video if you need more time. I want you to do that before you see me do it. So if you go up from the number 2, the dot goes right there on the line, which would be 33 degrees, right? Up from number 3, you put a dot right there. Number 4, dot right there at 33. Number 5 is easy to skip because that line just goes right through that dot at 35, or that spot at 35, which is 32. Number 6, you should put a dot there. 7, all the way up. Number 8 is right here. Whew, kind of a circle more than a dot. And number 9 right there. All right. So it says, notice that the numbers along the left side do not start at 0. Since the numbers from the 0 to 29 are not needed, starting with 30 avoids wasting space. There's no reason to have the numbers from 0 to 29 because none of the temperatures were under 30. So it just kind of saves some space on there. All right, see if you can figure these two out. Pause the video and then turn it back on when you've tried them. They're tricky. I hope you can do it. Okay, the first one says, what was the temperature change from the 6th to the 7th day? The 6th day is right here at 31. See if you go over, you can see it's 31. The 7th day, it jumped way up to 35. How much of a change is that? You should have shown your work here. 35 minus 31, which is 4, of course. So what did it change? This you're probably going to have to fix. 4 degrees, that little tiny 0 up there at the top of the number like that, that means degrees, and then you need an F for Fahrenheit. It was a 4-degree Fahrenheit change. That's what we use in America to measure temperature, is Fahrenheit. So the temperature jumped from 31 to 35. That's a 4-degree change. How many days was the daily high temperature above 33? So if it is 33, it's not above 33. So if I draw a line along here, this is where your dots come in handy. You can see any temperatures above that. There'd be 1 here and then 1 over here. So it says how many days. So the answer is 2 days that were above 33. Okay, any mistakes that you made, make sure you erase them and fix them. And you do not need to do number 5. You can skip that. Thank you for watching.